Jessa Duggar reveals name of sixth baby with husband Ben Seawald. The kids are very excited. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. The name of Jessa Duggar and Ben Seawald's sixth baby is fit for a king. Duggar, 32, and Seawald, 30, revealed the name that they chose for their newborn son in part 4 of the 19 Kids and Counting Alum's birth vlog series, shared via YouTube on Monday, August 11th. Edward Owen, Seawald told the camera. Duggar added that their 5 older children, son Spurgeon, 9, son Henry, 8, daughter Ivy, 5, daughter Fern, 3, and son George, 20 months, are very excited because they had been rooting for Edward. Jessa Duggar and husband Ben Seawald's family album with 6 kids, photos, explaining how they landed on the name. Seawald said, "We liked the sound of Edward pretty early on in this pregnancy. We always like historical names too. There's some historical significance with Edward, Jonathan Edwards, King Edward VI of England. And then his middle name is Owen, which John Owen is one of my favorite theologians." Despite having so many reasons to love the name Edward, the couple revealed that they didn't choose the name right away. In fact, they brought their baby boy home from the hospital without a name. "They told us we have about 6 days to let them know the name, then they have to send the paperwork for the birth certificate," Duggar explained, noting that they couldn't decide between Owen, Calvin, and Edward. Ben said, "We can just try out each one of our top 3 names for like a day or two and see which one feels the most natural," she continued. Seawald later added, "Sometimes you've got to see their face and maybe even test some names out for a few days. But we finally made up our mind." It's not the first time that the parents of 6 have followed this method, as Duggar said in the video that Edward was following in the footsteps of Spurgeon and Henry by receiving his name at 5 days old. Duggar announced the birth of baby number 6 via another YouTube video on August 4th. "When baby was born and everything was okay, I just sobbed like a baby. I just cried," she said. "We both cried. The baby's crying, I'm crying. It was such a beautiful moment and we're so thankful." Duggar and Seawald welcomed their little one on July 26 after 7.5 hours of labor. She teased that she would reveal the gender and name in her next video. Meet the next generation of the Duggar family, photos of the 19 Kids and Counting stars' children. Seawald began courting Duggar in the fall of 2013, and the pair got engaged 11 months later. They tied the knot in November 2014. The couple went on to welcome Spurgeon in November 2015, followed by Henry in February 2017, Ivy in May 2019, Fern in July 2021 and George in December 2023. Duggar suffered pregnancy losses in 2020 and 2022. A few months after announcing her pregnancy in March, she opened up to sisters Jinger Duggar and Joanna Duggar about struggling to feel emotionally invested this time around. "I think it's hard to allow yourself, early on, to feel excited when you see that positive pregnancy test because you feel like you're bracing yourself. You're like, this may go how it went last time," Jessa said on Jinger and husband Jeremy Vualo's Jinger and Jeremy podcast in July. However, Jessa said her miscarriages made her feel a lot more grateful for the children she does have. "I took a lot less for granted," she explained. "You know, when those pregnancy symptoms of, like, nausea or whatever, like, went past into the second trimester with one of my babies, I was like, this is going on really long. But then I thought, but it stopped short with the other baby that I lost. And like, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, I'm thankful even for, like, hard aspects of pregnancy because your baby's still there and you're still pregnant. I feel like it just caused me to be so much more grateful and to cherish life even more." It hasn't always been easy for Jinger Duggar Vualo to talk about her upbringing as part of the family that found fame on 19 Kids and Counting. "It's been hard and scary," she said, to discuss the disturbing religious environment Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar raised her and her numerous siblings in. "But there are aspects of being part of such a large family that are wild in other ways. And I'm talking about that grocery bill. Part of what enthralled America to the Duggars was the sheer number of mouths that needed to be fed. Jessa Duggar and her husband Jeremy tackled that very issue on their podcast, rewatching a TLC special from 2006, 16 Children and Moving In, which came 2 years before the series that would become 19 Kids and Counting. The special showed the family making their way across an Aldi in Arkansas before hitting the checkout, with Jim Bob Duggar saying, "We're at $677. We got 7 cartloads, which is a little under $100 a cart, so that's pretty good. Okay, whoa, let's break this down. These 2 parents brought at least a baseball team's worth of children into the grocery store and filled 7 carts. That must have been madness. Then to spend $700 in one trip is what Jessa Duggar called insane. However, at less than $100 a cart, I have to agree with Jim Bob here, because these days I'm finding that just one cartload of food can hit $300 easily. Thanks, inflation." Jeremy addressed that exact point, saying, "Imagine what those prices would be today. I mean, he spent $700 for 7 cartloads of food. That's got to be $2,000. That sounds more like what you'd pay in a month for rent than what you'd spend on food in a week." No wonder Jim Bob Duggar called grocery shopping a major operation. Thank goodness it sounded like Michelle Duggar knew how to stretch her dollar. She bought in bulk, and Jessa recalled always being very frugal and not letting anything go to waste. Her childhood consisted of lots of canned fruits, soups, and bean burritos. Michelle listed off a few items on her grocery list during the TLC special, saying, "Probably today, we will buy like 24 cans of milk, we're going to buy a case of butter which probably will have 48 in a case, and we'll stock up with frozen burritos, as many as they've got. We're going to fill up the freezer and the pantry today." Jessa Duggar confirmed the family would easily blow through 7 carts full of food, so I'm sure these wild outings to the grocery store were just part of normal life for the Duggars. It's been 10 years since 19 Kids and Counting was cancelled and 4 years since the spin-off Counting On was axed by TLC. It doesn't sound like Jessa has plans to return to reality TV anytime soon, but at least we can still hear her talk about what life was like on the Jessa and Jeremy podcast.